Hello, student. Uh, Welcome back to another lesson of computer studies. This topic of today's lesson is computer generations. Okay, computer generations. Generation in computer terminology is a change in technology when a computer is or was being used. Okay, initially the generation term was used to distinguish between varying hardware technologies. Okay, but nowadays, generation includes both hardware and software, which together make up an entire computer system. Okay, there are five computer generations. There are five computer generations known to date. Each generation has been discussed in detail along with their time period and characteristics. In the following table, approximate dates against each generation have been mentioned, which are normally accepted. Okay, the following are the main five generations of computers. Okay, one. We will listen them one after the other and we will be describing them with the generation. One, first generation. This is the period between 1946 to 1959. Okay, they made use of vacuum tube. They make use of what? Vacuum tube. Okay, this is the period between 1946 and 1959. Second generation of computer. This was the period between 1959 and 1965. Okay, they made use of transistor. They are transistor based computers. Okay, they are transistor based computers. Third generation of computers. This is the period between 1965 and 1971. Okay, they were IC based computers, that is integrated circuit based computers. They made use of integrated circuit, not transistor anymore. Okay, now the fourth generation of computer, these are the period of computers between the year of 1971 and 1980. 1971 and 1980. During this period, the computers were using VLSI microprocessor. Okay, but the fifth generation of computer, this fall in the period of 1980s, started from 1980s to date. Okay, they made use of ULSI microprocessor. That is, they are ULSI microprocessor based computers. Now let's take them one after the other. First generation of computers. The period of first generation was from 1946 to 1959. Alright? The computers of first generation used vacuum tubes as the basic components for memory and circuitry for CPU, central processing unit. These tubes are like electric bulbs, produce a lot of heat during operations and installation frequently. Okay, therefore they were very expensive and only large organizations were able to afford it. Okay, so in this generation, mainly batch processing operating system was used. Punch cards, paper tape and magnetic tape was used as input and output devices alone. Okay, the computers in this generation used machine code as the program language. Okay, this is how first generation of computer looks like. Let's see, it's always big. It was always big. Okay, now let's consider the features of first generation of computer. Okay, that is the characteristics. The main features of first generation of computer are: one, vacuum tube technology. Okay, two, they are unreliable. Okay, three, they are supported by machine language only. They made use of machine language alone. Okay, they are very costly. They generated a lot of it. They had slow input and output devices. Okay, okay. They have big size, that is huge sizes. They need AC. They needed air conditioning to reduce the heat. Okay, they are non-profitable, and last but not the least, they consumed a lot of electricity. Okay, okay. So they consumed a lot of electricity. Now let's consider the typical examples of computers of these generations. The following are the examples of computers of first generation. One, we have ENIAC. ENIAC, we have EDIVAC, we have UNIVAC, we have IBM 71, we have IBM 650. Alright. So these are examples of computers of first generation computer. Okay. Now second generation of computers. Second generation of computers. This period of second generation was from 1959 to 1965. In this generation, transistors were used. Okay, were used, and these transistors that were used were cheaper. They consumed less power, more compact in size. That is, the computers had more compact in size. They were more reliable and faster than the first generation. Okay? Machines were made of vacuum tubes instead of uh, so the machine was made of vacuum tubes. In this generation, that is second generation, magnetic cores were used as the primary memory. Magnetic core were used as the primary memory, and magnetic tape and magnetic disks as secondary storage or devices. Okay, in this generation, assembly language and high programming languages like Fortran, COBOL were used. Okay, so the computers use batch processing and multi-programming operating system. Okay, now this is an example. Okay, this is an example of the computer we are talking about. Second generation of computer. This is how it looks like. The one I showed you that time, this one is an example of first generation of computer. This is how it emits much heat. Okay, but this is an example of second generation of computers. It looked this way. Okay, the following are the features of second generation of computer. One, they use transistors. They are reliable in comparison to first generation of computers. Okay. They were smaller in size compared to first generations. Okay, computers. They generated less heat as compared to first generation computers. Okay, they consumed less electricity as compared to first generation of computers. They are faster than the first generations of computers. Okay, they still very costly. They are costly. They require AC, that is air condition, and they are supported with matching and assembly language. Okay, following are examples of second generation of computers. Okay, one, we have IBM 6020, IBM 1794, we have CDC 1604, CDC 3600, we have UNIVAC 1108. Okay, so these are examples of some computers of second generation of computers. Now let's discuss the third generation of computers. The third generation of computers. The period of third generation was from 1965 to 1971. Okay, the computers of the third. Okay, the computers of third generation use integrated circuits (ICs) in place of transistors. A single IC has many transistors, resistors and capacitors along with the associated circuitry. So the IC, that is integrated circuit, was invented by Jack Kilby. This development made computers smaller in size, reliable and different. Okay, so in this generation, remote processing, time sharing, multi-programming operating systems were used. High-level languages such as Fortran 2 to 5 to 4, COBOL, Pascal, PL1, BASIC, Algol 68, and etc. were used during this generation. Okay, so this example of third generation of computer. Features of the third, this is how it look like. So features of third generation of computers. The following are some of the features of third generation of computers. One, they use IC, that is integrated circuit. Okay, they are more reliable in comparison to previous two generations. Okay, they are smaller in size. Okay, they are smaller in size. They generated less heat. They are faster. They are lesser in maintenance. They are costly. Okay, they require AC, air condition. They consume lesser electricity. They supported high-level language. Okay, so example of computer of these generations are IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 series, PDP, that is personal data processor. Okay, then we have IBM 370 or IBM 168. Then we have TDC 316. Okay, so these are some of the examples. Okay, now let's go to fourth generation of computers. The period of fourth generations was from 1971 to 1970. Okay, computers of fourth generation used very large scale integrated cycle, that is, they use large scale of VLSI circuits. Okay, now VLSI circuits having about 5,000 transistors and other circuit elements. Okay, so VLSI circuit having about 5,000 transistors and other circuit elements with their associated circuits on a single chip made it possible to have microcomputers of fourth generation. Okay, so fourth generation of computers became more powerful, compact, reliable, okay, and affordable. As a result, it gave rise to personal computer, okay, that is PC revolution. In this generation, time sharing, real-time networks, distribution, operating system were used. Okay, so all the high-level languages like C, C++, database, etc. were used in the generations. Okay, so this is an example of fourth generation of computers. The main features of fourth generations are VLSI technology based. Okay, they were very cheap, portable and reliable. Use of PCS. Okay, very small in size. Pipeline processing, no AC required. Concept of internet. Okay, they have concept of internet. The concept of internet was introduced. Okay, they have great development in the fields of networks. Okay, the computers became easily available. Okay, so the following are some computers of this generation. So some of them are X10, 1000, PDP 11, Cray 1, Super 11. Okay, we have Cray 1 supercomputer. We have Cray XMP supercomputer 2. Alright. So now I want to talk about fifth generation of computers. Okay. Before I move to fifth generation of computers, I want to restate some of the examples of computers. Fourth generation of computers, okay? I said some of them are DEC 10. We have DEC 10, we have Star 1000, we have PDP 11, 11, PDP 11. We have Cray 1. We call this one supercomputer. Cray XMP. This is another supercomputer. Okay. Now, fifth generation of computers. The period of fifth generation is 1980 to date. Okay. In the fifth generation, VLSI, okay, that is very large scale integrated circuit technology, became ULSI, that is ultra large scale integration, okay, technology. resulting in the production of microprocessor chips having 10 million electronic components. Okay, this generation is based on parallel processing hardware and AI. Okay, AI is known as artificial intelligence. Okay, so AI software. AI is an emerging branch in computer science which interprets the means and method of making computers think like human beings. Okay, so all high level languages such as C++, Java, .NET, etc. are used in these generations. Okay, now, so this is an example of computer, fifth generation of computers. Okay, this some of the examples. Okay, this is how they looks like. So example are robotics, neural networks. We have game playing. We have development of expert system to make decisions in real life situations. Okay, so natural language understanding and generations. So features of the fifth generation of computer are they have ULSI technology, that is, they have ultra large scale integration technology. Development of true artificial intelligence is another features. Development of natural language processing is another features. Advancement in parallel processing is another characteristic to this fifth generation of computer. Okay, advancement in superconductor technology is another characteristic. Another characteristic is that they are more user friendly. Okay, in interfaces with multimedia features. Okay, and that they have availability of very powerful and compact computer. Okay, they are very powerful and they are cheap. Let me say they are cheaper, okay, compared to other computers. Right? So some of the examples of this computer are desktop, laptop, notebook, ultrabook, Chromebook. Okay, so this is all what we can learn under what is called computer generation. Okay, or generation of computers. Okay, so thank you for being attentive. Here we shall end our topic. Wish you best of luck.